Hello everybody, welcome back to Road to Master. I hope you're all having an amazing day. We're starting off with the white pieces against a 1912 from Indonesia. E4, E5, let's go ahead with our pretty standard stuff. We're sticking with the Scotch for now. I'm still undecided on that one. Whether we go all out on it, or we switch it up into like maybe even some D4, maybe go full-time King's Indian attack. Would be cool. Or maybe go for like an E4, F4 setup, going into the sort of Grand Prix that I've been studying recently. Anyway, we get D6 going into some sort of Philidor position, which we've been seeing a surprising amount of recently. I know I have in my bullet games as well. So we generally sort of know the setup, although this actually isn't the correct response. This goes into more 4 knights Scotch with a D6, which doesn't seem good. I think I can just take this knight here and play it like a 4 knights, but they don't have this annoying bishop move, which I think benefits us as white, which is why I don't like D6 as a move, because it stops the bishop stuff. Yeah, basically. Do we want to stop D5? It undoubles their pawns. I think we could potentially just go bishop F4 and get that out of the way soon. We probably want to go H5. What are they planning with that? Just looking to stop E5? Potentially. I feel here we could get some sort of attack going. I don't want to put too much pressure on the attack right now, though. Probably just go rook E1 and support the push some more. We are even looking at an E6, although that would hang the bishop with the rook discovery. I don't really want to give up the bishop pair just yet. Yeah, I don't even know if I want to play E5 because that would just give up the bishop pair as well after knight takes, rook takes. Although they do have the double isolated pawns, I don't think that's enough compensation for the bishop pair. Queen G4, they just go back to F6, I think. Let's just go Queen D2. Let's just go Queen D2 for now. Is potentially supporting G2 if we ever play an F3, which seems okay considering this bishop's got a really strong diagonal. This is not a good move. There is no way on this planet that that's a good move. I'm sorry to say. I think that forces off their bishop pair after knight D5. How did they save their dark squared bishop? Because the queen and bishop are on this same diagonal, you go H4 is met with G3, and you're kicked out. You're kicked out again, and you've got to go back somewhere, at which point you would not lose the dark square bishop, but it's not a good trade, I don't think. And once we take off this dark square bishop, we're a lot happier going F3. So we're just going to take this back, and we've opened up the E file, which we have control of already. They're going to probably be looking for play on the B file, so maybe even a B3. B3, C4. Just make that really, really strong. Immediately putting pressure on the B file. Just a C3 could work. Although I'm a bit worried about the strength of this D pawn. Then again, we lock everything on a light square and we're all good, right? Because they only have a dark square bishop. They could attack with the knight, but realistically, what's that going to get them? You know, they could push C. But again, what's that realistically getting them? Because we take, and now they have this awkward backwards pawn, especially if we get a C4 on the board. So I think that's quite good. We want to contest the open file. We could potentially double up the rooks. We have to be a bit careful of A5 as an idea. But I think we've just got a nice position. We could even think about going for a rook lift. I'm going to play C3 here. Pretty standard move. And then even I could consider a C4. I don't think I'm going to just yet, because I probably want to do a rook lift, to be honest. probably want to go for a rook lift. C4 here, we just take with the bishop. We're not falling for any back rank checks. I don't want that one bit. In fact, we could do, because the bishop's covering the rook, but that doesn't seem good at all, to be honest. Yeah, I think we got a really nice position out of this, to be honest. I really want to play c4 now. And maybe a rook h3 and just look for some attacks. h6 is begging for a bishop sacrifice, to be honest. Really, really asking for one. How do you cover that? You go rook out. But then even just check. And then their mate is coming with the bishop and the queen, which looks really, really nice. And to be honest, they're going to have a really, really hard time defending against that, I think. G6 is probably their best defensive idea. How I would probe that, I'm not quite sure. Maybe just a h4, h5 idea. But that might be harder than it has to be to stop. Bishop g3 is an idea with f4, f5. Seems nice. But then you're sort of taking this dark square bishop out of the game, which isn't ideal. Is not ideal. Knight there seems annoying. Seems annoying. Bishop there also seems annoying. Maybe bishop back is the way to go. I'm worried about knight queen in here as well, although that's not a massive threat, realistically. Rook e1, knight there, bishop back, knight there, and then what? Rook back. Probably have to. We could even then think about kicking this rook out, where it's really got nowhere to go because the queen's the only thing covering it. I think that's actually a pretty good idea. Let's go ahead with that. Seems like one way to win, potentially even a rook. If not get the dark squared bishop off the board, then we're okay, maybe. Although it's not an ideal sort of trade, to be honest. But maybe we can get the rook in on e7 is an idea with potential sacrifice plans. They go there. Okay. Okay, I think we might have to take the bishop off. Do we have to take the bishop off? We sort of do, right? We could go rook f3. Knight there, though, is annoying. Rook there. Nah. Takes. I guess that's a threat, right? G6. G6 is asking for trouble, right? So maybe we do actually go rook h3 here. Threatening to just take the bishop straight up. And then threatening this secondary idea of queen h6. I think is quite nice. Knight there, probably. Oh, rook there. Rook there takes... No, we can just take the bishop because the... Yeah. So they're probably going to have to go knight f6 here. At which point, probably just a c4. Probably just a c4. They go there instead. Now that seems like a mistake. Surely queen h6 here is the way to go. Rook there takes. There. Oh, this seems like a mistake, right? How do you stop this? Rook e8. Then even f4 is an idea. f4. Where's the knight actually go? For starters. And then that's cutting off the king's escape square. So that's mating. I don't see how they stop it. I really don't. Queen there, maybe? No, that's just mate. So there. Just f4, right? Just f4. Just f4 wins, surely. That's got to be a brilliant move as well. Sacking the bishop. And then f4 as well. Probably another brilliancy. Is that too cocky? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. It seems like natural, to be honest. It seems pretty natural. I don't know how you stop it. Abandons. Oh, amazing. Amazing. That's a nice win. +9. So that's a bit more than our loss, I think, yesterday. How many games away are we now? 72. 72. What's that away? 28. 28 split over 8. It's probably closer to 4 games away, right? Probably closer to 4 games away. Which is fine. You know, we've got that in us. We've got that in us. But if we keep... Ooh, 96.6% accuracy. Are you joking? Are you joking? That's ridiculous. Versus an 89.6. 2450 versus a 1350. Wow. Wow. Let's have a quick look at this one. Usual stuff. So they go into the 4 knights rather than like more Philidor-y position. They get the knight out. Usually it's like a bishop e7 first, with potential to like get the bishop out this way. It's not a bad move. It's still book and it's still like Philidor-esque. It will probably turn into more Philidor, but it gives us the chance to capture this knight straight up, rather than sort of doing like a bishop out, and that's just a move order thing. I don't think it matters, but the computer is saying 0.7 for white, so a slight advantage. Rather than bishop f4, we just took the knight, which is still okay, and played it more like a 4-knight Scotch rather than a Philidor, except this bishop's a bit dead in the water, to be honest. It's wanting f4 now. f4c with d6 not being an with bishop c5 not being an immediate option because of d6, but it's not a move I like playing without like this d pawn. You know, I'm not a big fan. I will play this against like the modern, and I'll play this in the Grand Prix, and I'll play this against the French in the King's Indian, but that's because we have the d pawn a lot of the time in those, so it's a bit more flexible. You've got options of d4 there, and I just feel vulnerable without that, so I usually not go for that. You know, we played the queen up, and then this knight to d5 is extremely natural, I think. It's not saying that it's best. The computer wants rook ad1, but like we said, this forces off their bishop pair, because if you try protect, you got g3, and then you either lose the bishop or you can hang on to that and just lose your bishop pair, which is the thing to do, to be honest. But they decided to take with the light square bishop, which is, it says it's the best move. I don't know. It gets rid of my breaks, which is probably good, but it also leaves like my kingside attack wide open, basically, and I have control of the e-file. You know, this is permanently fixed, potentially. So yeah, I wouldn't class this as nice for black. You know, we get to work fixing this permanently, and we go for the rook lift. Now the computer wants b4, which is insane to me. Absolutely insane. Yeah, why can't they just take? C takes. That doesn't look nice. You've got this now isolated pawn. Yes, it can only be really attacked by the queen and the knight. But what are you actually doing with these two pawns here? It doesn't seem like much. I much prefer this really tight pawn chain that can't really be probed other than like an a5. But in the meantime, you're making bigger threats on the king side. So that's what I personally prefer, I think. g6, definitely the right move. H6 would lose, I think. Oh, we've lost it. G6. I think H6 is begging for a sacrifice, at least. Bishop takes H6. And I think if you take, it's not going to be ending well for black at all. Yeah, rook check, and then F4. Yeah, I mean, this does not look nice. This does not look nice. You've got takes and takes. You've got takes with the pin. You've got some this potential. Yeah, I very much like this for white. We doubled up the rooks. Whoa, you bring the rook down is the best move? That's absolutely ridiculous. That's some computer nonsense, that is some computer nonsense. The computer's evaluating this at even, 0.1, so even. Bishop G5, definitely the move. And I went here with rook H3. Yeah, I didn't like rook F3 because of this knight. It just doesn't it seems yucky, to be honest. I don't see what you do against that, because you're giving up your light square bishop. Not even that. Oh, you take this? No, but that's with check. Free piece. Bishop takes. That's not a free piece, though. That's 2 pieces for the rook. I guess you keep the bishop pair. Sure. Yeah, I don't know. That seems sketchy. It seems unnecessary. I think rook h3 is nicer. More natural. Because you get this attack. Now, I thought actually knight f7 here worked. Is a mistake. So I did a trade. What did I say? Yeah, so knight f6, sorry. He's not liking me showing this idea. Please, thank you. We'll look at the analysis engine. Oh, it's g4. Whoa, that's insane, right? So queen can't take because the knight hangs. But why did you have to do that? I guess if you play, yeah, I guess G5's coming. If you don't, let's say you waste a move. Queen H6. Oh, Queen H6, then G5, and then you're also threatening takes. Whoa, that's insane. Pawn takes G5. Oh, no, Queen G5? Queen G5? Oh, and then you take the knight with check. Ah. Have they not got that? Oh, because I'm threatening the rook as well. That's tidy. Wow. That's a cute little sequence, that. Anyway, Queen H6 is devastating, I think. Rook E8, probably the best move. Queen... I thought F4 here. I thought F4 looked nice. Inaccuracy. Oh, knight F3 check. Ah. Whoa, whoa, this is insane. So what about G takes? Queen F6 then. And then just... Oh, and you no longer have the rook blocking the escape. Ah. So you've got to do bishop takes? Oh my gosh. So rook E2, looking to get the king on the E file to give some safety checks. King takes F3, avoids those checks. Rook E3, keep insisting. King takes E3 and you live with the compensation. Queen E7, safety checks, yeah. Bishop E4 blocks. With the dual threat now, you can move the queen with the rook taking. Oh, but then queen takes... No, but that's good, alright, that's good. What? What? And then you've all that just to sacrifice the bishop? I guess you can't stop it, right? Yeah, I guess you can't stop it. Once you move the bishop back. You got any other? King D2? F takes. Oh, that's a blunder. Yeah, it's got to be bishop E4. That's insane. Then F5 to stop. What even is the threat, to be honest? The bishop's pinned. So if you do a move, queen take... Oh, yeah, then let's just make... Duh. Yeah, F5 is sort of the only move. Yeah. I mean, F6 apparently, just to stop the check that way, but that doesn't look good, really. I think Rook G4 there. Rook G3, sorry. Yeah. Yeah, so F5. Wow. And then Queen... Wow. Queen E6 is insane. That's an insane find. And then you... Yeah, I mean, you can take, or you can just start pushing your advantage with these passes. But you probably want to get your king close, right? Wow. 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 And you can even push G4, G5 as well. Because the king can't move because it's tied to the H-pawn. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. I love that so much. Wow. All that, wow. I'm sorry, that's all I can say. Because that's insane. That's really, really insane. Yeah, wow. Great game. Absolutely amazing game. Thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed that because I definitely enjoyed playing it. Please like if you liked. Please subscribe if you really liked. And I'll catch you guys all tomorrow. Bye-bye.